2 employees at my company messed up on the job and both died in an accident. I didn't pay their families a dime, and I even personally sent their only daughter to an orphanage. In my last life, I felt sorry for that poor girl, so I took her in and raised her by my side. But I never could have imagined that one decision would bankrupt my company and destroy my whole family. After I mysteriously went bankrupt, the girl I adopted, Lu Ruyan, blew up online with a video called 3 Drinks to the Past. In the video, her eyes were red as she said, "The first drink is to my 16-year-old self. My parents died tragically, and I could only play sweet and obedient under my enemy's roof, barely surviving. The second drink is to my 18-year-old self, for fighting back against the man supporting me when he tried to molest me. The third drink is to my 22-year-old self, for personally sending the killer of my parents to hell. Now she has nothing left." I was shaking with rage. Her parents had clearly died because of an operating mistake with the crane. The suspended platform tilted, and they fell to their deaths. I pitied her for having no one, treated her like my own little sister, and even paid to raise her. I'd barely even been alone with her a few times, so where the hell did that molestation claim come from? After the video went viral, I became a murderer cursed by the entire internet overnight. I went to confront her, and one of her fans stabbed me to death on the side of the road. When I opened my eyes again, I had been reborn to the very day I decided to support her. "Mr. Zhang, this is the child of the employees who died." The foreman rubbed his hands together and hurriedly pushed the skinny girl in front of me. Looking at her trembling with her head lowered, I instantly knew I really had been reborn. I'd returned to the very day my stupid soft heart got the better of me. In my last life, I felt sorry for her for being all alone. I not only brought her into my home, but also paid her way through college. Later, I even brought her into the company and promoted her all the way to director, thinking I could train her to be my successor. But all I got for giving her everything was her teaming up with outsiders to bring my company down. She even blamed her parents' deaths on me and made up a lie about me molesting her. Thinking back on those so-called 3 drinks to herself in that video, I just felt like my whole last life had been one big joke. "I'll think about it," I said on purpose, dragging out the words instead of agreeing right away like I did last time. The foreman's face instantly darkened and the other workers all exchanged looks. Liu Ruyan suddenly lifted her head. In those seemingly innocent eyes, a flicker of panic flashed by. She bit her lip and the tears came instantly. "Sir, where are my mom and dad? I want to go find them." She shuffled a small step forward, her voice soft and trembling. "I miss them." Whispers immediately spread through the crowd. A few workers' eyes turned red, and some had already started pointing fingers at me. "Mr. Zhang, this really isn't right. The poor girl lost both parents, she's just a kid. Where else is she supposed to go?" The murmurs rolled in like a wave, carrying sympathy and blame, trying to drown me in both. In my last life, this was exactly how they guilt-tripped me into making the wrong choice, and in the end, it cost me everything. Seeing that I wasn't reacting, Liu Ruyan cried even harder. Wiping her tears, she said in a shaking voice, "Sir, I have nowhere to go. I'll be good. I won't cause you any trouble." "Mr. Zhang, just do one good deed," the foreman chimed in. I looked around at all those indignant faces and felt nothing but irony. It was the same in my last life too. They guilted me into raising Liu Ruyan. To my face, they praised me for being kind, but after I went bankrupt, they pointed at me and called me a monster. Not one of them remembered how well I treated them before. "You're right," I said slowly, "but there's more than one way to handle this." Everyone looked at me, and Liu Ruyan stopped crying too. A trace of hope flashed in her eyes. "I'll arrange for her to go to the best orphanage in the city. I'll cover all of her future tuition." Liu Ruyan's face instantly went pale. "Second," I said, pausing as I looked at her, "contact her relatives. See who's willing to take her in. If anyone is, I'll cover all the costs too until she graduates from college." I swept my eyes across the crowd. "Either way, I won't be raising her myself. I'm a single man, and taking care of a little girl just isn't appropriate. So how about one of your families?" Before I even finished speaking, the foreman nodded repeatedly. "Mr. Zhang's right. An orphanage really is more professional." The other workers quickly agreed. Right. The orphanage is better. Or finding relatives works too. It'd be more reassuring if family took care of her. The same people who had just been trying to pressure me were now all backing my plan instead. Sure enough, people are that realistic. Nobody wants to be generous with someone else's money or take on someone else's problem. But Liu Ruyan panicked. She suddenly rushed over and grabbed the corner of my suit jacket. "Sir," she said, looking up at me as big tears finally rolled down her face. "I don't want to go anywhere else. Please, I want to stay with you." She was gripping me so tightly her nails were almost digging into my arm. I looked down at her. Her little face was full of desperation and pleading, but what I saw even more clearly was the calculation buried deep in those supposedly innocent eyes, far beyond her years. She was weighing her options, thinking, trying to choose whatever would benefit her the most. In my last life, I was completely fooled by that pitiful little act. I really thought she was just a helpless kid with nowhere to go. Now I can see just how stupid I was. "Ruyan, you're still young. You don't know what's best for you yet." I reached out, trying to pull her hand away. "There are lots of kids your age at the orphanage. You won't be alone. No." She held on tight and burst into tears again. "Sir, I'm begging you, I'll really be good." People around us started whispering again, and someone quietly said, "The kid wants this so badly. Maybe..." "Ruyan," I said, crouching down so we were eye to eye, my voice gentle but firm. "Sometimes adults make decisions for your own good. Even if you don't understand it right now." She stared at me wide-eyed, and the calculation in her eyes became even clearer. I could tell she was desperately thinking, trying to find some way to change my mind. But I'm scared." Her voice got smaller and smaller. "Sir, please. I can do a lot for you. I can..." "That's enough." I stood up, my tone turning serious. "This is final. Foreman, contact the best orphanage in the city. I'll pay for everything." Liu Ruyan's face instantly turned ghostly pale. She let go of my sleeve, and it was like all the strength drained out of her body. But I noticed that in the moment she lowered her head, what flashed through her eyes wasn't despair. It was anger. I directly told my assistant, Xiao Chen, to handle it. Look into every relative Liu Ruyan has, even distant ones, and ask them one by one who's willing to adopt her. I'll pay! Money is the best test of people and the most effective bait too. Sure enough, the results came fast. In less than a day, a middle-aged man and woman were arguing loudly in my office. One claimed to be Liu Ruyan's aunt, the other her uncle. What they were fighting over wasn't the child, but a long-term meal ticket worth hundreds of thousands a year. In the end, the aunt, who was louder and more shamelessly flattering, won custody of Liu Ruyan. Don't worry, Mr. Zhang. I'll treat Ruyan like my own daughter, she said, rubbing her hands together with a smile so wide her face wrinkled up. The greed in her eyes was practically spilling out. I had my assistant Xiao Chen record the whole thing, and the written agreement was laid out on the table. The aunt couldn't wait to sign it, but at that moment Liu Ruyan, who had been silent the whole time, suddenly moved. She slowly walked over to me, tilted up that little face and said softly, "Sir, I really don't cost that much." Her voice was soft and sweet, with just the right hint of grievance, perfectly calculated to stir up a man's protective instincts. Too bad it didn't work on the reborn me. I didn't even lower my head to look at her. I just turned to Xiao Chen and calmly ordered, "Xiao Chen, add one more clause to the agreement starting next month. Every support payment and food allowance must come with detailed receipts and proof of spending, and everything has to be submitted to me for review at the end of each month." The smile on the aunt's face froze. Only then did I look at Liu Ruyan. Her little face had gone pale, and she bit down hard on her lip. She understood I was never taking her home. After the agreement was signed, Liu Li couldn't wait to take Liu Ruyan home. As they were leaving, Liu Ruyan stood by the car door. The way she looked back at me was full of heartbreak, like she was still waiting for me to change my mind. Those eyes were wet and pitiful enough to make anyone feel sorry for her, but I only gave her a calm little wave. The car drove off and her face stayed pressed to the back window as she kept watching me until she disappeared from sight. Standing beside me, Xiao Chen sighed. "This kid is really pitiful. She can't bear to leave you. Honestly, keeping her wouldn't have hurt anything." I flicked a speck of non-existent dust off my sleeve. "Then how about I send her to your house?" My assistant instantly went quiet, then gave me an awkward smile in the rearview mirror. "Mr. Zhang, how could my family compare to yours?" I stared coldly into the rearview mirror. Yeah, he knew my family had money and power too. I thought that once I sent her away, this whole thing would be over.